How are you?
I'm good. I'm groggy. I didn't sleep very well,
Oh no.
but I'll survive. I will survive.
That's good.
Drinking my
What are you
green
drinking?
juice,
What is it?
green stuff.
Oh my gosh, it's
Uh,
so funny that you say that because Andrew I just got a package this morning with all these juices, these Little
oh yeah,
West
yeah, Little
juices that
West.
man, I just I don't know. I don't think I'm a juice person.
It's a remnant of when I was like psychotically into fitness all the time. You get used to things like smoothies and yada 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 because they represent numbers. A smoothie or a glass of whatever the hell that's got this powder in it or something like that is great because I can look at it and be like, okay, vitamin B12, potassium, magnesium, vitamin A, vitamin C, 34 grams of protein. It's got all this stuff, and all I have to do is just hammer down this glass. It only represents this much space. And it tastes like dog shit sometimes, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to look at this and I'm going to fucking I have for sure shotgun worse drinks than this. So I just stand over my sink and I drink it like a big boy and I put the damn thing down and then we're good and then we're done. And then all that stuff that I listed off, that's in there
It's
now.
in your belly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I don't have to worry about it anymore. Now I'm good because I got back from Hawaii and I fell off the fitness bandwagon hard, man. I'm crushing pizza, beer. I'm not a one drink kind of guy, so one beer is like 8. So,
So how
but
did you feel
today,
after you came back from shooting? Do you feel good?
oh, I mean, Hawaii like fixed all my health problems.
Oh my God.
Hawaii was magical. Hawaii has been in my heart my whole life. I've been going to Oahu since I was tiny.
Yeah.
I know the island pretty well, and I was laughing with them at the cocktail party. I met a couple of the new brass, shall we say, and
Yeah.
I was just like, man, because that's their question. Like, how was it shooting in Hawaii? I was like, that's kind of a rhetorical question. How do you think it was shooting in Hawaii? It was awesome. It was way cooler than shooting anywhere else. But I was laughing. I was like, you need to see, you need a guy on your roster that you need to send someplace that has harsh sun, and you need them to do physical activities like climbing things or going surfing or something like that. I'm your guy. So no,
So good.
Hawaii was great, man. I kind of used it as an experiment too because this gut health thing has been like really not fun for me. And I was like, I'm just going to try something because the island helps facilitate it. And that is, I didn't make any jewelry. I didn't do anything. I mean, I did my job. I worked when I was on set, but outside of it, I spent time with people that I care about. I went surfing a lot. I spent a lot of time in the ocean. I spent a lot of time outside with the sun on my skin. I basically lived on fruit and yogurt for like the whole and poke. Oh God, I had some really good fish while I was there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just lived like a much happier, healthier life while I was there. And all my health stuff went away and I felt better. And I'm not one who really comments on my looks much, but I felt like I looked better. I slept good. I had sun on me. Like I was outside, I was exercising. It just, yeah, I'm kind of bummed to be home. I did get to ride my, I did get to ride my newest bike yesterday after 3.5 months long ordeal of I took it to a shop that was disreputable, shall we say.
Yeah.
But I took it for a ride yesterday and it was fun. And good Lord, it's a lot of bike. It's a big motorcycle, but
Yeah.
it was fun.
Good. That's good. Yeah, I remember the last talk that we did. You had talked about not getting outside much, and that walking to your mailbox didn't constitute walking or
Yeah.
doing anything outside. So
Yeah.
hopefully, this whole thing with Hawaii maybe will inspire you to get out more.
I hope
You know.
so. I mean, I always want to go outside, but I have this guilty conscience about work, and especially doing what I do for a living. I'm unbelievably fortunate to have a place to hang my hat at Hallmark Channel, but acting as a career is a pretty stressful career choice. So much not knowing, there's so much uncertainty in this industry. So, I'm constantly like, no, 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 no. If you have an opportunity for work, you should do it. You should do it. When are you going to work again? I don't know. Or like I've got my shop. The shop is a blessing and a curse all at once because every time I walk past that door, I'm like, you should probably sit down and make something. You
Yeah.
probably should.
Yeah.
You know, just make something. But then I'm in my shop. I'm sitting down all day long, I've actually been kind of having to like modify my training routine a little bit because I spend so much time sitting. My legs are getting weak.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, you're climbing, you're still doing your climbing and stuff, which is a lot of
yeah,
upper
but
body, but
climbing
still.
has been an interesting way. It's training, but it's also been an interesting way to shine a spotlight on some physical issues that I'm having, joint pains, and it's just identified some things, shall we say, because it's a different type of movement and it is a total
Yeah.
body thing. So, but I really enjoy it because it's a functional fitness. I'd be there right now. I'll probably head there right after I'm done here.
All
So,
right.
because today we start the fit bandwagon again. No more pizza.
I see that. Yeah, no
Oh
pizza.
man, no more pizza.
Well,
No
then
more French
I don't
fries.
want, and I don't want to take a ton of your time then. So
Oh,
we'll
it's all right, love. It's all right.
I'm going to the gym after this too. And speaking of getting on the fitness wagon, I just started going back to a place. It's called 9 Rounds, and it's kickboxing slash CrossFit kind of thing.
High
And it's,
intensity stuff.
yeah, I mean,
I
it's
grew up
super
in
high intensity.
I grew up in like the school of bodybuilding, and there's a lot of hate in bodybuilding for CrossFit and all that stuff. And to a degree, I understand. CrossFit has a lot of explosive motions and things like that, and movements like that can make you more prone to injury. That being said, I'm a big fan of anything that gives people a sense of community and inspires them to get up off their asses and get out there and
Yeah.
move and do stuff. I don't care what it is, man. If you want to go play pickleball, go play pickleball. I don't care. Anything that makes activity fun for you, that
Right.
makes you want to get up and go out and do
Do it. Yeah.
do it. Well, I don't care what
Yeah.
that is. Play volleyball. I don't know. Get a
Yeah.
scooter. Learn how to skateboard. Buy a bicycle. Like
Yeah. Anything.
CrossFit. Go to Zumba. Anything that's fun. And some of these they're sort of like community based fitness. Like I when I did from friend to fiance ages ago with Kelly Kruger and Jocelyn Hudon. Jocelyn's a big Soul Cycle fanatic. She's like a fanatic, man. There's like people who like this, and then there's Jocelyn. But she would drag us to these things. But it was kind of like I got in there and I was like, it's kind of culty, but it's kind of fun. I get it.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
it. And there's some people in there who definitely look like they've been on this journey a long time. It's
Yeah.
proven to be effective in attracting these people, So I'm a big fan of anything that makes fitness and moving your body fun and gives you a sense of community, because community, it's fun because it's support, but it's also accountability. You make friends in the class, they call you on it when you don't show up.
Mhm.
So that's all good stuff. Anything that gets people moving, I'm a fan. Eat something green.
Yeah, right. I like putting on the boxing gloves too and just hitting the shit out of stuff and kicking
Oh, yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It's like really good
Catharsis,
stress
man.
reliever.
Oh yeah,
It's really good.
Look, I live in my shop.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Lots of catharsis. I love it.
Oh my goodness. How close are you to your shop right now? Are you like right beside it?
No, my shop's about
Oh,
25 feet that way. I just have, my house is ridiculous. I have stuff like this like everywhere.
Just
I
have
don't
it
know.
laying
Maybe
around.
it was in my hand and I was like, I'm hungry. I'm in the kitchen.
Right.
And then I get in the
You
kitchen
just
and I'm
dropped
like,
it where it was.
oh, yeah. All right.
Oh, that's
Well,
so
I should
funny.
probably put that down. Cool.
That's funny. I love it.
There's stuff everywhere.
Love it.
Knives in my living room and swords over my TV and like
Oh my
a
God.
couple guitars over there. My house is a strange place.
Yeah.
My apartment is a strange place.
Well, this is interesting because I think before we talk about the film, I want to talk about something else. And
oh boy.
And this
Sounds cryptic.
It's not, but it's interesting. And it's so weird because I only saw it yesterday. And I was like, oh, I'm talking to Ryan on Thursday. Let's talk about this. Have I piqued your interest?
I don't know. You're being vague.
Well, now I'm going to get specific.
Right now, hit me with it.
You had that Hallmark cocktail hour thing last week.
I did.
Correct? Okay.
I did.
So now let me precursor this with, I'm in some of your Facebook fan group pages. I don't participate in them. I simply go in them just to kind of see where the pulse is with the news or your movies, or just kind of get a pulse on what your fans are.
Scary places for me, man.
They are, and I'm about to tell you something that's probably like, oh, I'm sure what I'm about to tell you is not a surprise, but I'm just curious to get your reaction. So Jonathan Bennett
Yes.
posted a picture of the two of you on Instagram.
Yeah.
With a bunch of
And
other
said we were
pictures.
going to do a movie real soon.
Said that you will be doing a movie together very soon, brother, in quotes. Yeah. Okay. Somebody took a screenshot of that and posted it in the fan group. They did. And the question was posed as to whether or not, would you play a gay character in a Hallmark movie?
And you do.
Okay. Because
there's a complicated, it's a complex issue. I'm not opposed to it. I myself am not gay. And so when it comes to a network that's doing its best to represent a community, it's not that I am against playing a gay character, but when you have members of the LGBTQ community on your roster and you're doing a story to represent their community, in my mind, since you have actors that belong to that community available to you, those parts should go to them, because the story will be more authentic, because they will bring parts of their own journey, parts of, you know, tension that they had at home, of their own specific species of romantic frustration of going on a bad date, or they got ghosted or whatever. They have experienced those milestones that we can all identify with, going on dates, going on bad dates, getting stood up, going on really good dates. Like they've experienced that in that community, and they'll be able to tell that story more authentically than I will. Am I opposed to it? Absolutely not. Some of my best friends are LGBTQ plus. Like I don't know. That's not a thing that I really pay much attention to, you know, like I'm in the love is love category. If you found something in life or someone in life that makes you happy, I'm happy that you're happy, because happiness has kind of been an elusive thing for me. That's the thing that I'm chasing in my life, you know? So anybody that's found it in any way, shape, or form that doesn't hurt anybody else, cheers with my green juice. I knew when Johnny Boy said stuff, I was like, oh, Jesus, people are going to take this and run with it. To the best of my knowledge, we're not going to be in a movie anytime soon, although I would love to, because I really like Jonathan Bennett, like a lot. Every time we run, like anytime I go to a party or at one of these things and John's there, I'm just like, all right, this is going to be cool. I got at least one person there I'm going to have a good time with.
Right.
And he and his husband, I think, are out in the desert, not far from Mr. Oliver. So when I make my desert sojourn, I am obligated to make sure that everybody gets a little bit of time, we get to hang out. And I got the big Harley, which is kind of fun, so I can take them down. It's kind of fun. I'd love to do a movie with John. John, is that weird? Jonathan, Johnny Boy.
I don't know, Jonathan. I only know him as Jonathan, and I don't really know him, so I don't know.
I don't know. It came out of my face. It felt weird. Jonathan.
It kind of looks like a Jonathan and not so much a John. So maybe that's why I think
feels very serious.
Yeah, he's very Jonathan. It's very fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to work with him. To the best of my knowledge, I'm not exactly sitting on a contract or a script or anything like that.
Right.
But I knew it as soon as he said it. I was like, man, rumor mills
are starting. Yeah. So it's just, and I'm not, because that was a great answer, and it's what I expected you to say. So I have no intention into going into any of the comments that were on that post. So
I'm sure they're going to go nuts. And every so often I tune in, and I'm just like, not even tune in. Obviously they tag me and all this stuff. I have a little bit of help with my social media that helps me, like block hecklers and stuff like that. Me and my peeps, we have a 0 tolerance policy for hecklers. If you throw hate at me or you throw hate at somebody else on my page and one of us sees it, you're out. I don't care. There's no warnings. It's done. It's done.
Yeah.
I'm not a social media guy. All right. It's my least favorite part of the job. And I have met some great people through it. Don't get me wrong. I'm just not wired that way. I'm not going to be on TikTok. I'm not going to do little 15-second dances for you. Watch the movies. I'm a terrible dancer. You kidding me? It takes a team of editors to make me not look like I have concrete shoes. Like movie magic, baby. That's what we got. We have creative angles. Don't show his feet. You know, speed it up, slow it down, shoot the take 16 times. And then that one that went in the movie, it took us 16 times and I got it right once. 1 out of 16 is a fail for sure on any standardized test. If you got a 1 out of 16, why did you even go?
Oh,
Like,
geez.
so
It's so
I'm
funny.
just not I've just never been a social media guy. And I remember early on when this kind of became my job and started dogpiling more and more of this stuff on. And you got to do this interview thing there and that, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, I'm not any good at this stuff, guys. Like, stuff they don't tell you when you get started. You just learn it as you go. And it's okay. It's not that big of a deal now. God, are you kidding me? I'm a decade into it now. So I'll get to it.
Let's talk about your collection. So the last interview we did, it came out the same day as your collection was released. Your collection sold out in moments.
Yeah.
So how, I mean, you had expected that because that's usually what happened. So have you started making pieces for the next collection?
I have started making pieces for the next collection, although I'm at a pretty low piece count right now. I think I've only got like 3 or 4 done. But yeah, I am working on a new collection slowly. I just am one of those people, I can't force myself to do creative things. Like if I'm in a bad place mentally and we've got an audition, it's better that I just don't do it. Because what we don't want to do is send in a bad tape to a casting director or something like that maybe I've never worked with before. And now in their mind, they're like, this guy's terrible. Don't send him. Delete him from our computer system, please. Cool. And then you never get a chance to read for them again. Same thing happens in my shop. If I'm not feeling like inspired to go touch the metal and do stuff and play with fire and blah, 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 then I'm just going to waste a bunch of time and a bunch of money because I'll melt the silver or I'll buckle some. I'll burn a bunch of materials and then I get frustrated and then that makes it worse. And I have to be drawn into the shop. And it's weird. Like I got back, like while I was in Hawaii, I was like, I couldn't wait to get back into the shop. And then I got back and there was like some fam stuff came up and some fun things and some frustrating stuff with the bike and yada, yada, yada. And I just didn't log as much time in the shop as I thought I would.
Yeah.
But I'm getting there. We'll see.
Yeah, I was going to ask if Hawaii inspired you at all, if you got any ideas for pieces.
I suppose. I mean, Hawaii has kind of always been, the tropical stuff is always in my heart. That's like where I'm the happiest, honestly. Like, there's a lot about me that isn't frequently made public. Like I started posting rock climbing videos and everybody's like, is that because you did a climbing movie for Hallmark? And I'm like, no, dude, I've been climbing since I was a kid. Yeah. Yes, there will be a collection coming. And it'll probably sell out super fast because I've only got 2 hands. And no matter how much stuff I make, it never seems to be enough.
Well,
I did spend a bunch of time restocking some of the less exciting items. Like I have like a couple of complicated pieces, but for the most part, most of the work has been done. We're going to restock. There's a lava bracelet that I haven't really been able to get components for a long time. So we never have a lot of them. It's called a Padang lava bracelet. It's one of my favorite little beaded things. I love the little beaded stuff. People seem to really like them. And they're kind of fun. You sit in front of the TV and you're just kind of like stringing stuff. You watch a movie and you're like, oh, or sometimes you'll forget and you're like, oh my God, I just made a bracelet that was like that long. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can, I don't know. We'll see. So I've restocked a bunch of stuff like that. I found a supplier that had some of those components and I bought like all of them. I was just like, I'm not joking. I'll take every unit that you have, every single one, everything. So I bought like 1,700 of these little components. So we'll restock those. We'll restock the trestles. We'll restock the tiger's eye. All of the stackable rings are going to be restocked. The smooth ones, the hammered ones. We'll have some more bangles. I made some of those, or cuffs, should I say. So some of the it's less flashy stuff, but still kind of staples for the business that seem to have been really popular. They're fun to make. They look kind of cool. So all of those are presently restocked right now. I haven't updated it on the website. I never know if I should just update them when I make them or if I just throw everything in the collection. Everybody seems to be used to the collection business model now, and I'm kind of reticent to change it because it's just what we do. And it's a good business model for me because it's forgiving. It provides me time a little bit.
I was just going to say that. Otherwise,
hectic.
You're going to have orders coming in and then you're making some and then you're shipping stuff and then it's going to feel more like a full-time job than
yeah. Well, and that's the problem too when it starts to feel like a job, that's when the kind of the mojo starts to go away. And then I don't know, the stuff that I make just isn't as well executed, or I just work much slower. Um,
Right.
so you kind of got to go when the juju's flowing,
Yeah.
when you got mojo. And I feel like creating, because then I'll work more efficiently. I'll enjoy it more. Those two things typically yield a better product than when I'm in there and I'm like, I have to make inventory today. Like it's such a
Right.
cold
Right.
thought and
Yeah.
not terribly motivating.
Yeah. No, that's not motivating for sure. So, all right. Well, that's cool. We can't wait to see it. I know there's a lot of fans coming to RomaDrama that will be
Oh yeah,
wearing your
yeah.
pieces for you
Hmm.
to see. So they are really
Yeah.
excited. I know some of them are even going to bring the box that you sent it to them in so you can sign it. They're
Oh
all
yeah.
very, very
Yeah,
excited.
there were a few of those at the last Christmas thing that I did. They brought
Oh,
the Wanderer boxes and I signed them. That was kind of
yeah.
cool. It's
Yeah.
always a trip for me to see stuff that I made like out in the wild, you know. Like I remember a
Yeah.
lot of the names and stuff. I mean,
Mhm.
Wanderer's been up and running for 5 years. I'm not lying when I say I pack the boxes. I do everything. I got a little 4x4 label printer, and you see the names, the repeat names, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a trip, you know. I didn't think anybody'd ever really like any of the stuff that I made. I didn't ever get started doing it thinking it was going to be a business. It just sort of turned out that way, and here we are. I mean, I'm glad that it's turned into a business because it's funded its own growth, shall we say,
Mhm.
which has been cool. Now I have this cool shop space in there with all these toys and tools, like hammers, and
Yeah. The
like
hammers hang
like
around.
stuff they're
Yeah.
all like tools for creating. So on those days when you're feeling really inspired to create, I have lots of stuff to create with now, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Uh, so I'm excited to see who all shows up at RomaDrama and what they bring. You know.
Well, let's talk about the movie.
Yes,
Two
let's.
Tickets to Paradise. This will be your first time that you worked with Ashley Williams,
It was
correct?
my first time working with Ashley Williams.
And how was that?
She's magical, man. She's great.
Yeah.
She's super funny. You know, she directs and stuff as well. She I think she wears a lot of hats in the industry, and it's always good to work with somebody like that because they understand all of the little duties that each position needs to fill. I've said this before about like working with gals that I've worked with who were former soap actresses or something like that, where there's a lot of boring stuff to the acting thing, like the left brain things that just aren't terribly exciting. Like my life is ruled by little pieces of blue tape on the floor because those are my marks. But we can't like find, you know, so the boring parts of it are necessary though. If you can't hit your mark, you can't hit your light or something like that, or blah 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 blah, then we have to go again, and then more and more repetition like that starts to make people frustrated, which starts to degrade their performance. And
Right.
so it's good to work with people who are technically gifted and they understand that side of the business as she does, because like I said, she directs, she understands why we're going to frame it this way here, and there's like a really pretty backdrop over there, or she'll have an idea about maybe we could just move it a little bit this way here, and then you get this in the background, and we don't have to fight that light over there. And it's good because again, when you have a bunch of people on a team and a bunch of those team members have worked multiple positions, we're all more empowered to make a better film at the end. So she's great technically, but she's super funny and super kind and super giving. But it was great. She's super funny. We had a blast, and I mean, in a beautiful place, which was great.
So you got to surf.
I did. I did get to surf. I remember when they sent me this script and there was surfing in it. And I'm just like, we have to tell them that they have to let me surf, or I don't want to do it. I mean, I'll probably do it anyways because I get to go to
Right.
but
Right.
you have to let me surf. And
Yeah.
I was a little bit bummed out because there were, to get into like super surfer talk for a minute, man, like there was a couple of days there. There were a few swells that hit the island while we were there. Unfortunately, that swell was not firing when we filmed. So like a week before we filmed, it was huge and I could have given you guys a show. The
Yeah.
day we went to film,
Oh.
the waves were small and kind of mushy, and I surf a really short board. So I
Yeah.
need a bigger wave to get going fast. You know, on the small
Right.
ones like that, a longboard's great because you need more buoyancy. I need more foam to keep me up out of the water.
Right.
But I'm a shortboarder by nature. So the day that we went surfing, we went to the west side. Um, which is a big deal. Haoles like me don't get to surf on the west side. Mainlanders don't get to surf on the west side. There are a lot of breaks in Hawaii where you just don't go. That's just not a thing. And it's understandable. There's a long-standing history to it. We got to surf the west side because we had a really, really respected and influential family, the Kelowna's, that came and kind of played ambassador for me. And we had a couple of jet skis in the water that, I mean, it was the most spoiled day of surfing I've ever had in my life, because they basically went out to the lineup and made it so that I could take off on stuff. And then when I took off on a wave, they would have a jet ski ahead of me who would take me doing the thing. And then another jet ski on the inside who'd be waiting for when the ride was done. I would just paddle over to the sled in the back, and then they'd ski me back out. It was insane. I don't know. I called my dad.
Have you ever surfed like that before? Have you ever?
You've never like that before. No, nobody surfs like that. That's like,
no, you've never surfed in any other movie. This is like your first time in a movie surfing. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you feel like a pro surfer? Because that's what
spoiled treatment. Because ordinarily you'd just be schlepping around, just paddling around and stuff like that. I just was like, I had water taxis. It was wild, man. It was crazy. I called my dad and I was like, dude, you will not believe what my life is like right now. Oh my God.
That's so awesome.
This is insane. Oh man. I wish it was bigger that day. I really wanted to, like, I don't know, give you guys a show, because I know the network doesn't do stuff like this all that often, you know, especially to have the lead do the stunty thing. I was like, oh yeah, dude, let's do it. I'm an activities guy. I wanted the waves to be like twice that high. I wanted to I really wanted to give people a show, but you can't argue with the ocean, man. You get what you get. And it was super fun anyways. It was fun.
Yeah.
I had a blast. And everybody was super cool. I got to meet the whole Kelowna clan, and they were super cool and very giving and very knowledgeable. And I had a blast. I didn't want to get out of the water. I remember when they called it, they're like, yeah, we got it. I was like, no, I don't think we do. I think I need another one.
No, we didn't get it. That's so funny. That's so funny. Oh man. So do you have, I know, so did you sign a deal with Hallmark?
Huh? I did.
You did sign a deal with Hallmark.
Yeah. Okay. I'm hanging. That's where my hat's hanging. So.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have, is there anything in the works right now that you know of?
No, not that I know of. I mean, I did this summer one, so I got to imagine we got a Christmassy thing of some sort at some point. But I mean, I also kind of just got back, and I know they got a lot of mouths to feed. I'll be around. But yeah, nothing specific right now. I know a few people who are writers, and they have scripts that I'm trying to groom a little bit and send to the network, because there's been a few. You know, the network is changing the style of its filmmaking right now. Both in terms of format, you know, kind of straying a little bit from the, you know, boilerplate equation, which is good, mixing things up a little bit. You know, I like the new direction, and I think that it will make our programming more dynamic and more relatable and more entertaining. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing specific, but there are irons in the fire, shall we say.
Good. It's good. Your fans are super excited. So
this is gonna be a fun one. This 2 tickets, man. This was a fun one, and if for nothing else, God, it's beautiful there. It's so pretty. Like, I can still hear it in my head.
So have you ever considered moving to Hawaii?
I many times have actually considered moving to Hawaii. So before the film and TV thing actually took off, I was a handyman and a bartender for forever. And, you know, when you're in LA and everybody's like, oh, what do you do? I'm an actor. And they're always just like, oh, cool. What restaurant do you work at? And I always had an answer to it because I was working at a restaurant. When you're trying, you know, and you're going to auditions and stuff like that, the thing that people don't tell you about this business is an industry of rejection. Your catch rate is going to be like 1%, if that. So you're going to try really hard, put yourself out there, and it's going to be a little bit embarrassing, and then you're going to fail because they don't want you, and then you're going to get all down on yourself and blah 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 blah. So I was kind of in that phase for a long time, trying to find somebody that would hire me to do something, and it wasn't working for like a while, and I was just like, man, all I'm doing is bartending. why don't I just move to Hawaii? Like I could bartend. There's bars everywhere. Why do it in LA? I could bartend at Paradise. I'm not a huge LA fan, despite having been born and raised here. I leave it every chance I get, or at least the greater LA area. I need a little bit more nature in my life.
Yeah.
I'm a bit landlocked right now. Yeah, I don't know. It's a strange career. Just leave it at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It's just so interesting because you talk about how like it seems like you're very aware how great you felt after you came back.
Oh yeah.
And then
The only reason I'm not gung ho about moving there right now is honestly, practicality, I suppose. To do what I do for a living, it would be difficult for me to, carry on any plans of career expansion if I was to move out that way, because it's secluded, it's cut off, and that's kind of the point and the allure of it. Don't get me wrong.
right.
And someday I would love to end up there. It just doesn't feel like right now is quite the right time. I think if I moved there right now, it would feel like running,
Right.
I love it there. Don't get me wrong. I've got friends there and I made new ones on this film, and I love being in the ocean, and Hawaii will teach you respect for the water. That's for sure.
Yes, it
I've
does do
I've
that.
surfed my whole life and would consider myself to be pretty competent in the ocean, but Hawaii will humble you real quick. So
Yeah.
it was nice. I went out on a couple of days, and Hawaii was kind enough to remind me that it was powerful but not kill me, which
Right.
was cool.
That's
I'd love to end up there someday. I just don't know that now is quite the right time.
yeah.
And in the meantime, I'll just do the best I can to get back for visits. Bring my board. The board that I surf in the movie is mine. It's my surfboard. So
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
yeah.
Very
Well, I
nice.
love them to death, but they don't know anything about surfing. So when they started asking me about stuff like that,
Right.
I was just like, I not to like make it weird or anything like that, but I can make this look less kook like, they wanted like wetsuits and colors and all this stuff. And I was just like, let me bring you an actual surfboard from a person that actually surfs. And
Right.
I'll surf in front of you. If you don't believe me, we'll just go out one day, and all the people who don't, we'll just go someplace and you guys can take a look and decide if that's something you want to put in the movie.
Right.
But it worked out, and I was super pumped that I got to surf in this. Like, I don't know. It's hard not to take away from getting to work with Ashley or anything like that, but this was such a unique experience for me to like actually get to surf in this film.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was great.
Well, RomaDrama is right around the corner.
Yes, it is. A few weeks now.
Your fans are super excited to see you. What are you looking forward to coming down here to West Palm, South Florida?
I love Florida. I always have. I think we have some before and after stuff, me and the RomaDrama team, to talk about plans for the future, and one of them might include a motorcycle, which always makes me happy. I'm excited to see everybody again. I'm excited to see all the fans again. I'm excited to see wanderer stuff out in the wild. That always blows my mind, man. I was talking about this at the cocktail thing the other night too. It's really rare for the dudes of Hallmark to like get together. There has to be like an event, because we all live all over the place. I think Trevor's up in Mammoth, I think, and
Yeah.
I think Wes is here in LA. I think Wes. Tyler is here in LA. We were talking the other night about going for a ride. I was like, I'm getting my bike back. Well, I'm getting one of my bikes back this week, so let's take the Harleys for a spin. And Wes is out in East Coast, and so we're scattered about all over the place. I think Andrew's here as well.
Andrew's in LA. Yeah.
But we don't often see each other unless there's one of these things that summons us all from wherever it is that we live, and we go and we do that thing. So we've kind of become buddies, having done a couple of events. We keep running into each other at these little cocktail whatever's, or the TCAs, or there's a car pitch or something like that. So it's kind of cool to see them too, because then we get to sit down and have a beer and talk about stuff. And I don't know, the whole event to me is enjoyable. The doing of it is fun. Meeting the fans is super fun. Everybody's been super excited and really nice and kind, and they've got stories about how this film helped them with that, or they brought this thing, or they bought something from Wander. they brought this box and it was a gift for somebody, and just, I don't know, it's nice to connect, you know, especially now as we're starting to experience like a little bit more normalcy, you know, not that, I don't know that COVID is ever going to be a word we're going to forget. I think COVID is going to be a word that's a part of our vocabulary for forever. But it's just nice to be experiencing a little bit of like human connection again. So that's always kind of fun, you know. I'm a bit of an introvert until I'm not, and then I get out to these places and I snap out of it and I wake up, and then it's fun,
Right.
you know. So it's good to see everybody again.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, it'll be a blast, man. Like Gabrielle and her peeps, they know how to do one of these things. I've been doing these for years. I've done lots of these things at varying levels, shall we say. And RomaDrama does it right, man. It's fun. It's fun. It's a good time. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. I would imagine that when you were on the soap opera, they did a lot of this kind of stuff.
Yeah, we did a lot of those. But they were interesting. These soap events, man. It was different. This is a little bit polished, a little bit more polished, which I like. Again, no disrespect intended to either business model, but I think that this gives you a better experience as an attendee, and it gives us a better experience as essentially employees of this event, you know. So it's just it's cleaner and more polished all around. The guest experience, shall we say, I think is superior. So makes me feel good about it too, because, you know, people come a long way and they've spent all this money. I want to make sure that the thing that we deliver to them is good, you know, that they enjoy it, that they don't walk out of there being like, you know, I want them to have fun and pictures and have souvenirs, and I got a little buzzed, and like I want them to look back on it and kind of smile, you know, like this we want to make good memories.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of people flying in from Canada. A lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty big deal, the investment that people make, for sure.
Trust me, it's not lost on me. It's never been lost on me. It wasn't lost on me on the soaps too. Sometimes we do a soap event and we do like several in a row in different cities, and you'd see the same people in different cities. We've been Cincinnati, and then you go to
they would just follow to the next thing,
you know,
like groupies. So, they're like your groupies, your fans.
But again, we are, I don't know, I kind of subscribe to the Harrison Ford way of thinking about, you know, what we do for a living. I don't really like to think of them as fans. They're kind of like customers. I produce a product, and if I produce a product that sucks, people don't want to buy it anymore. So I have to adjust. You know, I work for the people who watch our films. I work for the people who make our films too. But ultimately, we work for the people who watch the stuff, because we make a product and then we bring it to market, and the market decides if what we've made is something that they want. And if it isn't, then we got to evolve. You know, we have to adapt and please your audience. They are the reason you have a job. So do it right.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the different stories and storylines that Hallmark will move forward with. I think it's good. I think people want to see that. I think there's definitely a demographic for it that's wanting more, and it'll be really cool to see. It's
a pleasant expansion of frontiers, shall we say. You're still going to get the stories that people have loved. We're just going to have more of them, you know, and we'll mix things up a little bit, right? It's spice of life. It's good. It's good to be exposed to these things.
Yeah, no, it is. It certainly is.